And we are entering game number 2. And, well, as you can see, it's going to be Black Forest. So it's going to be probably a pretty long game. And, well, let's see how players will actually deal with it. It's going to be a 4v4, so yet again, a more reason why it should be super long. And, well, right now we see all the scout in here, so it's not really probably going to be all that needy. Have a look all around, so let's just check for potential map screws. That could be funny. Those two boards here hidden, not really ideal, but he's going to be seeing them, so not really that much of a problem, especially when he sees the base boards right next to his home TC, so not really that much of a problem. At the start, it's just as usual going to be a race for the walls. And looking at the civilizations, we have actually interesting one. Turks in Obelix, and then Shmoof as Celts, Homers, who is a replacement for Dunedain, is playing Spanish, Asterix is playing Mongol, and for Clues we have Sancho Celts, Vince, Spanish, so it's the same, and Hox is playing Mongol, also the same, and Chinese is the difference from the Turks for Saleso, who is the replacement for Hats. Hats was playing in the first game. So you can see that one wall is not enough, so we are just building a second one just to be sure. And on the other side of the map, is there something interesting happening here? Well, probably going to be something similar. That was very nice and easy to wall off for Grey. He is having kind of a nice map, I have to say. Very easy to wall for him. And they just need to control this part of the map, and he's probably going to be finishing the wall around here. And he may be... Oh well, he couldn't have. I was maybe thinking that some kind of wall around here would have been slightly better, even though longer, but it's way too close actually to red, so yeah, scratch that. That wouldn't be a good idea at all. Wouldn't be a good idea at all. So yep, this is a pretty good wall for him. He's also having those two boars right inside. Oh well, this is unfortunate for it. Two pumas or jaguars. Oh well. Let's switch into a red. Salas at this point. And yeah, he did have looms, so he killed both of them. That was a pretty nice one right there. And he's also trying to somehow punish this Grey Villager from finishing the wall. And unfortunately, it seems like he did finish on the wrong side of the wall, hasn't he? Oh well, of course he did. Of course he did. And with those extra villagers, yeah, goodbye Willy. So that's really unfortunate for Grey, who has, even though he has successfully walled himself in, well, he's going to lose a Willy, which is not ideal, and definitely going to put you back. Even though it's just one Willy, it can make all the difference in proper strategies, but still, it's one Willy, and he's already moving in with extra houses, so it's going to be the second layer of the wall around here, second house here, and then, yeah, about there. And well, the villager is trying to do as much damage as he can, but he wasn't able to do anything extra, as yellow was in here trying to help red, and that's it. That's the odyssey of this Willy that has ended in just 5 minutes of the game time. Nothing interesting somewhere else. This is kind of decent water, even though we have 4 spots for the fishing. I kind of remember somewhere that I've read somewhere that if you have 4 fishing spots, it's worth the dock on Black Forest. Maybe someone can prove me wrong in the chat if you know better, but something like that I've read somewhere. So potentially could be seen some dock around here. And otherwise, like that the maps are overall pretty cool. It's not usual to have some kind of bad map skew. This is a very nice clearing, kind of unusual. Having 3 boards and just 1 spot in the map, and yep, there's literally just 1 tile to go through, so yeah, kind of interesting little clearing here. It's really decidedly easy. Usually you don't get all that easy defensible spawns of Black Forest. You also get spawns where you have some kind of a bit of a clearing with water in the middle that is kind of harder to defend, but it is really literally too easy. All you have to do is defend those 2 small walls. You can see that red is right now finishing his side from Grey, and he's also having ready the wall here as well, and this is going to result in the second line. Yep, so Asterix is not really leaving anything to chance at all, and it seems like that Grey, or rather Purple, is having placed very nice foundations for the palisade walls to see when opponents are potentially getting through and running around them. This is pretty good defense overall. All these Pumas or rather Jaguars here, there were 2 here. are here and two are at the other side of the map, or rather of the tunnel through. So yeah, that was pretty good coverage by the nature. But anyway, wall is also pretty nicely finished here, and I'm kind of thinking that Obelix did this quite obviously because he didn't want to engage those Jaguars. Maybe he didn't have Flume all that earlier, and well, yeah, he did have to force himself to go for the much longer wall, even though he probably would have much preferred to go for a wall around here, and maybe even around here, because he maybe would have wanted to actually keep this gold for himself. Well, let's see if maybe he will develop a little further into the game. Oh. This is a very nice falling. Not exactly sure what Green was thinking about here, but yeah, he kind of definitely wants to be sure that nobody is sneaking up on him, and he's maybe thinking a lot ahead for the siege onagers that are going to be coming through, but this would be really a very long way. But yeah, for siege onagers, nothing is long enough. So this is kind of curious, a wall right there, but otherwise he should be having a pretty nice map, yeah, a lot of bars, a lot of nicely placed hunts, or rather mines together with stone and whatnot. So yep, this is very nice indeed for him, and this is actually pretty cool. He's having triple bore on here together with normal deer, and also triple bore on the left, so that was very nicely placed mill, and a very nice help from the map spawn. Yeah, this is definitely going to be going quite nicely for Hawks in the early game. Well, there's a bit of a lure in here from Obelix, who is trying to make sure that those extra bars are closer to his TC, especially when he is about to finish with this bar. And is he going to be in time? Oh yeah, he will. He will be safely in time, so that's very nicely timed and well played by Obelix at this point. One relic is here on this side. Do we see a second one? Yeah, we see a second one next to blue base, and then three. I see three on the minimap near clues. So clues are having a slight advantage in that, but it's not like it's going to be crucial. And this is kind of like a crossroads, literally crossroads of the roads, and also those animals here and the jaguars, the relic. Yeah, very nice. Very nice thing. And this one, well, even though it's on Clu's side, it's kind of behind the tree line, so I'm not exactly sure it's going to be available anytime soon. So it's basically 2 versus 2 in the relics. So very nice. At villages, we are at 27, so we should be probably seeing advances anytime soon. We are also at 12 minutes. And we should be actually seeing them, so it's just probably the overlay not working properly. Let's just let me switch through that. It's gonna get correct, and apparently it isn't. So yeah, we're not seeing at this point the upgrades, so it's slightly unfortunate, and we will have to do with just looking at the DCs at this point and switching through the players. So yep, we are advancing into feudal age, exactly as you would have expected due to the population here, and overlay is not working at all. Ah yeah, that's slightly unfortunate as it's really helpful, and it will be having to rely on what is happening on the map, especially here on Black Forest. That would be very sweet. If it was working, well, yeah, it isn't. And I'm not going to rejoin just because of that. We'll just finish the old school way. Old school way. Anybody thinking about some early aggression here? Well, probably not. I'm not really surprised at all. This is just going to result in everybody going into castle as fast as possible. I'm just really curious how the bottom side is going to develop here. This boar here, well, why is it lying here and not exactly being lured? Well, it probably wasn't lured because it was killed somehow by some mistake or whatever. Or maybe it was killed by some of the villagers here just as kind of a strategy by Red. Well, maybe, but I'm thinking that the boar could have made an attempt to actually run there, but since all the holes are actually filled, it didn't have any way through with the AI, so it just attempted to go through the normal way, and it couldn't, so yep, Red just killed it right off. That's kind of what I think happened here, and that's pretty decent play at this point, because it's going to deny one of the boars to Grey, and that might put him slightly behind. Yep, Stonewall being dropped right now by Red, who is definitely thinking that this point of coming through is not going to be possible anytime soon. And well, do we see something interesting here? Well, red is also building a wall here, so I'm not exactly sure why he isn't really trying to protect the gold, but he's thinking that he needs a bit more compacted space to defend, which is just as well, and this one gold mine is probably going to suffice him for quite some time, and he will be happy with just this amount of map to defend for himself, as he's maybe expecting that he will be under pretty heavy pressure, as maybe this is going to develop into kind of a battle between orange and green, and then it's going to allow blue together with teal and gray to actually go through this one choke point, as it's kind of leading in there. Definitely gray and teal are funneled towards this one clearing quite substantially on this whole map, and blue is going to be having quite easy access there as well. Orange would have as well also, but I'm kind of thinking that he will be pretty much engaged with green really, as green will be attempting to go through, as he doesn't have any way around, or it would be very complicated. And also, what is important to notice at this point is this choke point. That's absolutely horrible for potential trade routes later in the game. Because obviously you want to make as long as you can. And I'm kind of thinking that you will be seeing trade routes and markets about here. Maybe around here. And they will be coming somewhere here. TCs like this one. That could be in trade route that would be finished. And really the choke point could be pretty terrible. There's just like 2 or 3 spaces in there, and that's not enough. That's not enough to actually compensate for the bad UI, or rather AI, artificial intelligence, and they will have to do something about this, and maybe they should be doing it faster right about now with some extra lumber camps here before it actually becomes a problem. In the Imperial Age, obviously, you can level these trees with some siege energies, but I'm kind of thinking that the trade route might be getting cluttered even before then. So yeah, that's something to keep an eye on. How's it looking with trade route for these guys? Okay, this seems fine. Idols here. Invisible on the route, almost. And otherwise... I kinda don't see a problem here, even though... Well, yeah, actually don't see any problem at all. That's probably going to result in markets about here and here, and that's going to be a very sweet trade route indeed. And they could maybe even build some extra markets here because they have access to it. Yeah, it's just going to take a bit of extra lumber camping here, and that's going to be it, or rather lumber check-in, and that's going to be yet another pretty sweet trade route in case the south one became too unsafe. So yeah, this is pretty sweet indeed, and I'm kind of thinking that BFs are a bit better poised to actually make proper use of this map. So first military buildings are right now being dropped. And we see that it's a siege workshop for the Turks together with the archery range, and we are at 20 minutes, so probably, yeah, guys are at castle ages, and just Asterix is the only one in feudal age. And let's check into achievements if maybe somebody is slinging or whatnot, and yep, we are. That's the reason why Asterix is in feudal age. He's actually slinging Obelix. So Obelix, the orange, which is the player at the top who will be engaging with Hawks, should be having a pretty huge edge, and since he is Turkish, well, that might be quite interesting indeed. If he opts to go for a lot of hand cannoneers, or rather janissaries, or maybe cavalry archers through this, I'm not exactly sure what he's aiming for at this point, but I'm really looking forward to what is going to happen here. I kind of expect to see some bombards once he advances into Imperial Age. Let's switch into Obelix, how soon he actually is advancing, and not, oh well, he already is almost there. So that's a pretty fast one, and it seems like that Hawks is well aware that this is not going to go all that well for him, and he is attempting to defend as much as he can, even though unfortunately for him he's going to take just one shot of an onager here, and it's going to be free route inside, and he should definitely take care of that. Maybe he is now. It almost seems like he might be thinking about it, but really he needs to protect this route slightly better. I'm also really thinking about this part through, which is going to result in a pretty nice surprise if either orange or green are going to use it. I would maybe be expecting that green will be using it slightly more because he is more aware of this choke point, whereas, or rather this passage through, whereas orange is not as much. He is not really having any kind of business there, so he might not be all that prepared in his mind to go there. And yep, here we go with the hand cannoneers. And that's going to be ballistics research pretty soon, I think. And the bombard cannons. Oh yeah, here we go. This is going to be yet another attempt to go through. He will also need some extra battering rams, obviously, to get through those walls, as it would be very useful indeed, as battering rams do damage to multiple lines at once. And yep, finally Green is realizing that there might be a problem in his defensive plan, and unfortunately for him it's kind of late, because right now the army is already here and is growing. Let's have a quick check somewhere else. Gray is so far not really doing anything, just attempting to make sure that the wall is impossible completely, as basically he doesn't want to attack anyway. He is slinging his ally Orange, and that's it. Well, 1, 2, 3. 4 TCs for purple. Building monastery possibly for the relics. We see just a 1 TC, of course, as he's still in feudal. Asterix for blue we see 1, 2, 3. 4 TCs. Red is having 1, 2, 3, also 4 TCs if I'm seeing this correctly. Yep, 4 TCs for him. Yellow is having 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. He's actually having 5 TCs at this point. Oh, that's quite decent, and he should be moving pretty hard. And looking at next player, that is Vince. He's having 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 TCs. And last one, who is Hawks, who is under attack already, is having 1, 2, 3 TC so far. Just 3. It's kinda not enough. Or we may be hoping for 4 or whatever. But, well, he kinda thinks it's enough, and he's preparing as a Mongol. And what's hiding in there? I would be thinking that some kind of knights. Yeah, knights are preparing in there together with 1 camel. But that's probably just a mistake in there. Or maybe just trying to lure his opponent into thinking otherwise, that there's going to be something else happening. And well, he is almost through Obelix, through his sling. So let's see how powerful he will be. And he already killed some extra villagers in here that were trying to finish the walls. But yeah, that's not going to happen with this extra range. And it's really kind of curious that the Turks are not going for Janissaries yet, but he doesn't have the stone for castles, I would guess, and that's basically the reason. And this is the much cheaper and, what is much more important, much faster option to go into the aggression here. And he is through, which is kind of curious. At 26 minutes, a player being through and fully, he's definitely fully through. He's right now fully through into green base, and this could be even shorter game on Black Forest than it maybe was on the Arabia. Well, that would be quite curious indeed. Green is at this point definitely not very happy about this. Let's switch to his point of view really soon. Was maybe thinking that he may be advancing into Imperial Age there, but he isn't. He advances somewhere else. There is his next TC here. No, he isn't. He's still in the Castle Age, and really Obelix is just in the Imperial Age, and right now he is being slung by Vince, as you can see, and he definitely needs something extra, because he doesn't have any kind of resources whatsoever, and he's totally wrecked at this point. And even though he is having quite a decent amount of knights, this could be somehow managed by Orange, but he needs to be careful. And even though Green has lost the battle here, oh well, he is going to win the next one. He is definitely going to win the next one, and this is absolutely huge. As Obelix is losing like a ton of resources. This is so much gold. This is so much gold that, oh my, this hurts. This is like basically wasting all the sling in here, right in this first battle. And this is very well played by Hawks, because he was basically letting Orange to come through and luring him in. And then, when he had enough units, enough knights, he just unleashed them, and yeah, this was pretty decent wreckage. And right now, it will be up to Green. Maybe go through the walls. And, well, is it going to be enough though? Because Blue is very nicely reacting to this development and is helping his ally, as he definitely needs some extra protection against those knights. And yep, those pikemen are going to be exactly the right unit. And well, you can see that Shmoof is not about to give up this position, and he's aiming to actually protect the hole in the wall. And is he going to succeed? I'm not really thinking so, because Green is sending in quite a lot of villagers, and you can see that Purple has already built a protective wall to actually disallow his opponents from coming through. And well, yeah, this is it. This is right now the battle for the life of Green, and if he can protect his home base and the wall, he will be very safe indeed yet again, and Orange's sling will be pretty much made useless at this point, and he will be going to rethink his strategy at this point. Well, Blue is still in. He's still trying to do something because those villagers are still not dead, but it's just a question of time. But can he build a second barracks? Second barracks will definitely help, especially fighting against those knights. And if he can amass enough units in there, it could be quite useful. Siege workshops, okay, so that's going to be mangonels, I would kinda guess, to get rid of those buildings and also of the potential units behind the walls. And let's switch somewhere else here. Not much happening here, but it almost seems like the threat is preparing for the battle together with yellow. So we should be seeing an invasion at the south side pretty soon. So let's see about that in just a matter of moments. Well, it's very nicely played from kLu, and Grey will be needing quite a lot of defense because he is not having any kind of army since he was slinging, and is maybe Teal preparing as he just some Teal blobs at the north. And it seems like they are going for some pretty huge triple on that front, and if Green can defend just by himself against those 3 players, with some slight help from potentially Vince, who was slinging him, well, I kinda don't see how kLu cannot win on the bottom, because they will be having facing absolutely no opposition there. I mean, you can already see onagers. They will probably be siege onagers pretty soon. Let's switch into Sancho. He's in Imperial Age, having quite a ton of resources, so yeah, this will be siege onagers anytime soon, and he will just cut through these trees, and he will ambush Grey pretty badly. So let's see if somehow BFs can salvage the situation at the north. Right now they are through. They are through with a pretty decent amount and amassing of halberdiers, and well, we can see that even though the walls are somehow finishing here, those 2 barracks actually did the job for blue, and he was able to keep the wall from getting even thicker, and those bombard cannons will be enough to break through totally in just a matter of moments. And then cavaliers together with hand cannoneers are going to make an appearance, and well, yeah, that's going to be a very bad news for the opponents. Green is though finishing castle at just an opportune time, because it's going to help him defend exactly as he needs, and well, might it be enough? I'm not exactly convinced, because he's basically facing 1 versus 3 with a bit of a sling of his allies. So yeah, it's nice, but not really all that game changing. So he's not really poised to win this battle, and it seems like that the bottom side will have to hurry up. And here we go. Yep, they have made their way through, and it seems like that Grey so far is, yeah, he is there, but he doesn't have any kind of defense, and he will be just totally wrecked, which means that Orange won't be getting any extra resources from him, and Slick is basically over. And let's see how fast Red together with Yellow can advance through his base into the other guys like Teal. Teal should be already walling, and not just building units, he should be walling himself in to actually stop the attack of his opponent, so that they have to cut through the trees, and it takes a slight amount of time, and it would buy them time enough to amass some kind of units. And also this means that Homers will be probably switching fully from the north to the south, and even though he's having paladins, he's right now retreating from the top battlefield and coming to the top, coming to the bottom. Vince is right now saying a bit of a GG because of those bombards, as they are doing a pretty good job, and the army here is kinda too tough to deal with, as it's exactly the combo that is correct. And there's hand cannoneers together with halberdiers, and well, yeah, it's not like you can do too much about that, especially when you are fighting just alone, exactly as Hox is. He needs some extra help from his ally Vince, and is Vince preparing? Oh, it seems like that Vince is still probably just slinging, maybe building a bit of a archers or knights here. Yeah, he will, Spanish, he will be going into Paladins pretty soon, and he's also being good to be helped by a Siege Workshop from Yellow, and that's because Yellow is having Siege Onagers, so he will be attempting to lay waste to all those head cannoneers together with the halberdiers. Looking at the south side, where Yellow is just wrecking the army altogether, basically claiming it as his own, so Grey is basically displaced from his home, and well, Red is also making his way with a lot of villagers, and I'm kinda expecting some extra castles right there being dropped. And since Saleso is Chinese, he might be wanting to do that because of the obvious power of the Chukonus that he will want to use. So far though, it's just going for bombard towers, and yep, that's yet another strategy that is common on Black Forest, and also pretty useful indeed. Yellow is very nicely switching into halberdiers, so that's going to be exactly the correct unit against all those knights and paladins from the stables, and Teal won't be able to defend this just by himself. He's facing 2 players with pretty good combo, and especially, yeah, he's building the wrong units. He just doesn't have the correct unit here, and yeah, building the castle is though a pretty good idea, as it's both big and also very nice defensible building, so he needs to build some extra walls here. and he should be pretty much poised to defend against this, even against the onslaught of all those halberdiers. So he just sent all his paladins into this battle here. But yeah, it's going to be all that much harder with all those extra bombard towers from the red, and that's basically what red is right now going to do. Yellow will be a bit of a siege units, red bombard towers, and some halberdiers in there from both of them. At the top side you can see that Green is pretty much dead. He has been raided all along. He's just right now gathering gold here, and once steel actually finishes with him, or some kind of other color like orange or blue, well, he will be pretty much toast. And at this point I'm kinda thinking that he doesn't have anywhere to run. He's having just a few villages here and here. Yeah, that's not really nearly enough. And looking at the amount of villages, we see that Hox is at just 58. Well, that's pretty terrible, and Asterix is at 46, so it's not like it's that bad. But what is worrisome is Obelix at 78, whereas, yeah, kLu wins is 156, 138 for Saleso and El Sancho 138. So KLUs are at this point having a much stronger economy, but they are also not really winning fast enough at the bottom, I would say. They are losing faster at the top, and it's really going to be decided if the top side of blue together with orange can push through the battle fast enough to actually deny the chance of yellow with red pushing through the bottom, which is at this point not happening at all, because yeah, you can see that Homers is doing a pretty good job with his paladins, and it seems like that yellow together with red are kinda underestimating the production of halberdiers. You can see the Chukonus here from red, so he's dropped castle somewhere around here. Yeah, that's basically to protect both of those gods. But I'm not exactly thinking that's going to be it. Especially, oh well, that's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good switch from Schmoof, who is switching into champions. And, well, rather two-handed swordsmen so far, but they are exactly the correct unit to wreck those halberdiers. And if Homers engages those halberdiers to make them stop, yep, those guys are just going to kill them. This is a pretty good defense right now from BFs, and this is buying them the extra time that they need to advance on the north side. They have broken through the walls, and they are also breaking through the defenses there, so pretty good job on that. And KLUs are having a pretty hard time defending, and even though they are having quite a lot of buildings here, it's not like they are able to mass as fast as their opponents. And yeah, you can see that red is not the only one with the bombard towers, and the third player in Obelix is aiming for them as well, which is exactly the right thing to do. They are also trying to make sure that the green base is basically cut off from the rest of the KLUs. Yeah, that's literally nobody here. Just this is this is quite curious by Hox. He's just making all the villages count here because he knows he's going to lose them. But as long as he can gather as many resources as he can, basically he's at this point just denying them to his opponents. That's the main goal here. And if he can do that, yeah, that's going to be very valuable, because also on Black Forest, once you are running out of resources like the stone and gold, yep, that's the next side of the Black Forest problems. Yet another castle, so that's a triple castle with double town center, and that could be doing something. And finally the siege managers and also paladins from purple are somehow getting larger numbers, which means that blue has to retreat, because, well, somehow the army has just disappeared, because the hand cannoneers have gone somewhere else for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why they're still not getting on those gold villages here, because orange should be well aware. Let's just send them there and kill them. They are basically at this point stealing our resources, come on. Oh well, yeah, let's have a look somewhere else at the bottom. And yeah, you can see that this battle is not really going anywhere, so it doesn't seem like the decisive push by Saleso and El Sancho. And slowly but surely it's getting lost, and it seems like that neither red or yellow are actually thinking about pushing through. They're just right now establishing themselves in this gold and the castle, and trying to make sure that they actually have a slightly stronger position and better massing position of their armies. There's nothing happening in the trade so far. Ah yeah, already trade is here. It's not really extra long. But, well, they don't really have a choice, do they? Because they can't really go for the trade route that we have been talking about earlier. So that is another effect of actually capturing the green base, because it severely limits the trade route that KLUs have. And that's not good news for any kind of later game. Finally, those resource thieves of the green have been leveled and put into their graves. And well, yeah, this is pretty much it for all of them, but they're still not giving up and trying to make themselves useful before they die for his master, for their master. In the middle though, it doesn't seem like that BFs are going to be having any kind of luck advancing further. They are basically just digging trenches at this point with the bombard towers, and this is just buying time for kLu to actually get some ground under their feet. And you can see that Green is already having some extra army, and he's not really out of the game as he might have thought. He's though having 75 PDs, which is the same as Asterix, so still pretty much the same in there. And this is just waiting for the inevitable to happen, and that's like for kLu to get in enough army to get through here. And especially I'm not exactly sure if BFs are thinking this through, because Yellow is having siege onagers, whereas I haven't seen them from BFs yet, and this means that he can just go anywhere. He can pop up, I don't know, here, out of nothing. Absolutely out of nothing, and I kind of waiting for that to happen, because obviously that would be the very good course of action here. As the top side, I would maybe just try to build a lot of bombard towers and basically make trenches here as well, and then make a surprise attack from the bottom into the teal. If not teal, that's in check actually. Into the backside of the opponent here. Yeah. I think that would be a pretty good idea indeed. Let's see if somebody picks it up. So far though, Teal is having a pretty decent army of paladins at the south front. He's right now fighting quite a lot of halberdiers, so he could use some extra help from blue and those champions, as they were quite a nice idea. And well, yeah, right now Kos are having a pretty good ground under their feet with the amount of Chukonus. Those Chukonus are pretty beastly if they are massed. And well, if they can get rid of those onagers. Come on, hit those onagers. That's what you need to do, and be careful about the bombard cannon as well, because otherwise, yeah, those siege onagers are going to be just a pile of splinters. Kinda curious why he isn't shooting at that, but probably engage somewhere else. Trying to make sure that this workshop is being built, but will it be? Because exactly right now, the trebuchet is just going to be killing it, and maybe he will succeed, but still. This battlefield is definitely going right now for kLu, because they have established themselves very nicely. They are having some extra resources in the gold here, and what is much more important, that they are establishing a much longer trade route, which is very sweet for them. Yep, we can see that those siege onagers are right now here, basically just to clear the way. You know, they need to continue to actually make it clearer, and this will be very nice indeed. And it might be better actually if it went somewhere through here. So let's see about that. And well, oh well, these are some nice great villages here. One dead, second will be, oh, headshot. Will be that as well, but it was a very nice sneaky play here. And Grey is having some extra villages here, a bit souther as well. Well, that's what you see here. At the top side, yeah, this is basically not going anywhere, and it really seems like that this is aiming for some kind of sneak attack in here. This is not going anywhere for either side. This is just brutal trench warfare on Black Forest that everybody knows, and the army of kLu is basically just meaning that there is absolutely no way that BFs can at this point go through, as they have basically allowed Green to get back into the game, and he is having a pretty good army. Exactly of the unit that is dealing with the most problematic part, and that these are the siege onagers here. And well, these are siege onagers. They were just plain onagers a moment earlier, so right now it will be also up to BFs to go with some sneak. So is that going to happen somewhere? Well, ton of idols. They are being killed because they are just taking pop, obviously, for wins. And well, it almost seems like that kLu are thinking that they can actually push through here. I'm not really all that convinced, because obviously in these tight waters you just see a lot of halberdiers that are going to defend, stop all those cavalry, and which will buy some extra time for the bombard towers and the hand cannoneers. And maybe, just maybe, it would be a good idea for the third player to switch into Janissaries. Well, they are pretty good, they are stronger obviously, and when they are massed into pretty high numbers, which you would be going for, well, not exactly sure that there will be some kind of army that will be dealing with that, as Turks are pretty strong in the post-imperial age. This is a pretty huge battle for basically the future of the game. And if kLu can't kill those siege onagers fast enough, this will be pretty much wreckage. They should be though, because looking at this battle so far, BS are losing units quite fast. And even though those siege might be killing all those trebuchets, I'm still not really thinking, or rather knowing, what Hox is doing at this point, because he's not doing anything. He's just running around and not really targeting those onagers, which was slightly curious, because you should be the one killing them, not those hussars or whatever. So that was slightly curious, but still they did win the battle, as onagers are dead, and well, this might be a way through for them, because they have been able to kill all those bombard towers with just one left, and it's not like there are enough villagers for Orange, just having about 4. Well, that's way not enough. That's way not enough. Where are some others? Come on, you need some other villagers in there. Send them in. Come on. You can't really hope to mass bombard towers with just 4 villagers. It's not enough. It's not enough, especially when you are losing the battle. And let's see if Kus can make an advantage of this, well, slight window of opportunity for them. But it's very fast closing. It's closing very fast, and yeah, they unfortunately wasn't able to make, or rather take any advantage of that, and well, we are basically back at the situation where we were at. So let's have a look at the bottom. Where is it going here? Well, obviously nowhere as well. And it's also pretty curious, because it seems like that Teal is able to defend just by himself against 2 players. That's pretty important at this stage, because it just leaves all that much more resources for BS to battle at the north side and potentially push through there. So let's see if maybe Sancho and Saleso can somehow step the game up. This onager is arriving exactly on time to get rid of those trebuchets. Yep, that's a pretty good shot. And one more to those. Come on, give me the hits. Give me the hits, and oh well, come on. Be careful, Sancho. Be careful, Sancho, so that you don't lose them, because you obviously have some kind of waypoint way into the battlefield, which is not ideal. Yeah, you can see that. It's going in there. And that's not really what you want, especially when you are not fighting there. So this is a very typical battle as well. Attempting to take down the castle without success so far, but it was very close indeed. And those 2 extra trebuchets might be getting this castle to drop even sooner. But still, yeah, this defensive line with all those bombard towers, with all those paladins, that's pretty strong and not going to be all that easy to get through. On the north side, yeah, this is basically stalled totally. You don't really see anything at all that could be happening here, that would be pushing through here. I'm just slightly thinking that kLu might be having slightly worse defenses. Well, scratch that. I wasn't really seeing all that many castles here, and yeah, all those 6 castles, or how many? Yeah, I kinda thinking that's going to be enough to defend. I was just thinking about the way that BS are actually building their buildings, which is very clever, as they are not leaving any kind of empty space in there, and they are basically limiting how kLu can maneuver in their spaces there. Nobody is thinking about some surprise attack yet. Sorely disappointed at that, even though Obelix, together with Grey, are trying to steal the gold in the middle. Well, steal, it's literally no man's land. And I'm kinda thinking that somebody will think of what they should do. Use some siege managers, go through right into the middle of the trade route, and that's going to be it. But well, not happening so far. Don't really see it anywhere. And this trade route is very nice, even though it's slightly risky if they happen to lose the battles here. And finally, yeah, siege managers used to what they should be used to, and that's widening the gap here between those 3 lines. And that's exactly what they need to lose, and they are making a go for it. So will they succeed? I kinda think so, because once they have much more room to maneuver, they are having slightly bigger armies at this point, and if they can get those siege ramps next to those buildings, especially the castles, they could be well on their way actually within this. You can see that Orange is trying to make a wall here, because he is right now realizing what is happening, that exactly, yeah, those siege managers could be making their way through. And Tony, yeah, Grey was slinging. Grey was slinging. I'm not exactly sure if he's still slinging, but since we don't see any units from here whatsoever, I kinda guess that's going to be exactly the case. I'm going to switch into some of the BFs like Obelix, who was slung by him. I'm kinda thinking that's really going to be it. And yeah, to finish the thought with the 3 line, that's a very nice one, but really risky one, because if BFs happen to lose this base, they are going to be at a pretty big disadvantage. finally some Magudais also, we haven't seen them yet, and this is exactly the answer to what Grey is doing. He is having a castle here, 2 castles actually, 3, 4, sorry, god damn it, count in here. So 4 castles, and he's switching into the unit that he should be doing, and looking at the economy, he's having 155 villies, so he has got feet under his, ground under his feet at this point. And he will be a proper enemy, rather opponent to Hawks. So this is very nicely developing at this point, because this will be yet another pretty crucial change into the dynamic of the battle. And this is going to be a huge surprise, because kLus haven't seen them so far. And once they make an entrance at a pretty good spot to get rid of all those siege managers, trebuchets and those siege rams, well, that will be a pretty nasty surprise. And if BF's timed this correctly, that might be a window of opportunities for them to go into the opponent's base. So let's see. And right now he's making the entrance, and is that going to be enough? Well, he's entering at kind of a spot where they are heavily losing. So it's kind of a desperate mode, so it's not really as effective as it could have been, but it's going to wreck a lot of those siege weapons, which is exactly what they need at this point to buy them some extra time and potentially get some extra armies up. Orange is still trying to build some extra bombard towers, but yet again I have to stress, 3 villages, come on, that's not enough. You need to send like at least 10 villages and build them as fast as you can, literally spam them, because otherwise you're just not going to hold the line against opponent like kLu, who is, yeah, doing exactly what you should be doing, and that's building all the extra bombard towers here, and also right now winning the battle slightly. Those Magudais are definitely doing their job though. Doing their job, and we have to switch quite soon at the bottom field. But yeah, right now it seems like the BFs have defended successfully, so let's quickly switch at the bottom, where we see that Red is actually advancing into Teal. Teal has lost the crucial castle that he was defending here with those bombard towers, and those, well, that's a lot of trebuchets. That's quite a lot of trebuchets, that's 10 trebuchets. And, oh well then. Scratch that, that's... oh, come on, I need to switch into him, I'm not going to count this. Yeah, that's 10 of those, and 6, 9, well, that's almost 20 trebuchets. That's 20 trebuchets from Red, and of course, yeah, I can kinda see how the castle fell. I can kinda understand at this point. Alright, it seems like to be a pretty huge problem for BS, as they are not able to defend against this, even though Blue is fully engaged in here with his champions against all those halberdiers, so what is coming from Yellow potentially. But Red seems to be pretty capable of handling this himself, because the sheer amount of those trebuchets with the very nicely positioned Conus, yeah, pretty huge number as well, is basically all he needs to defend against this. And what is needed in the defense here for homers is, yeah, all those extra oranges. Well, I'm kind of thinking that they might want to wait a bit for it with them, and maybe amass like 10 of them, and then unleash them at one point, and basically annihilate absolutely everything, because sending them in one by one is not going to achieve anything at all at this point. Steel basically needs some extra time to amass the paladins as well. He's not producing fast enough. How many stables does he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 6. Well, could be enough, but at this point it doesn't really seem so. And what caught my eye is all those houses. If kLus can level this is basically going to mean that Homer is pretty much out of the game, because he will be horribly housed and he won't be able to rebuild as fast. This is, yeah, like half of his pop limit right there, and once those houses are dead, yep, not good times coming for BS, especially when Salasso is definitely winning this side of the battle, with Sancho's help, of course. At the north, yeah, this is not really going anywhere still, even though you might say that kLus are having slight kind of advantage. Might be some kind of advantage, but still it doesn't seem convincing enough. But I'm kind of thinking that once this defense line is broken through, this is going to be a GG, because yet again it's going to be the death of the trade for BS, and they won't be having any kind of other trade routes anytime soon. They could be having the one from here, potentially to here, which they, well, I'm kind of thinking they should already be doing it. Because if they're waiting until they lose here, that's going to be way too late, and the disruption in the gold income and whatever is just going to be too big to overcome, and it's going to allow kLus to basically go through them like knife through butter. It's not going to be anything nice for the BF team. So maybe if they're going to switch the trade route longer, or rather faster, they might be able to still hang on into the game. But at the same time, it seems like they might be able to hang on just at this point themselves, as in this huge battlefield, those Mango Dice from Grey, who is making his presence count very strongly at this stage, is still pretty good, and Orange Bombard Towers are exactly the defense that is needed here against all those Paladins from Purple. So yep, again, still waiting for someone to make some kind of surprise attack. And not happening too much, and the south battlefield seems to be leveled. Yeah, we have seen 20 trebuchets here, and we see the last Mohican here. And he is dead as well. And he is dead as well, and all the advantage that red together with yellow hat is gone, and oh well, this is important. This is important because green is switching the sides. He is abandoning the top battlefield and coming to the bottom. Maybe not fully abandoning, but he's just going to push through here, and that's a pretty good idea, because I'm kinda thinking that at the very top, kLu cannot lose. kLu simply cannot lose. They have like 6 castles here, a ton of buildings, a ton of bombard towers. Even if they were slowly relinquishing ground here, they just can't lose fast enough for this bottom side to give them enough advantage through those Mango Dice. And oh well, do you see that? Mango Dice arrived at the battlefield exactly when blue did what I was suggesting, and that's amassing a bit of a bit of managers. That's as bad luck for BS as can be. That's seriously not even funny for them. But I'm going to have a laugh about that. That's a point where you kinda start throwing the keyboard around when you see this happening. That was a ton of resources gone, but more importantly, a lot of potential to actually kill the opponent gone. And yep, those archers are going to be surviving just exactly because of that, and they will be able to maybe kill even all those paladins. So let's see, he should be retreating to allow those halberdiers to come in. He exactly is. And yeah, attempted bombard towers yet again here, but it's probably going to be stopped if Teal is able to amass enough trebuchets, but can he? At this point I wouldn't really be all that sure, even though the amount of paladins at this point is pretty decent, so I wouldn't really put it behind him. If he can amass enough of those trebuchets, he will be pretty good to actually hold this line. Just going to quickly check around the map, because the battles are not really going anywhere. You see another Spanish stables from Wins being prepared here. Not exactly sure if they are going to be built anytime soon. A very nicely cleared trade route through those onages, but right now you could probably employ them somewhere else. You will be missing the population limit in the battle. Come on, Sancho, send them somewhere. Even though you are not really popped at this point, but you might be pretty soon. Those grey villagers right here at the back, they're not giving up. Yeah, this relic has been actually released from its prison, and well, in this battle, oh well, you can see that Orange has been able to build quite a lot of extra bombard towers, making the defenses all that much stronger and all that much more difficult for kLu to go through. We should be thinking about a bit more defending here, as they're not really building enough of the bombard towers here. I'm thinking some extras, like, yeah, 20 extra here could be enough to actually do it for them, and if they did, they could be concentrating on something else, and maybe finally think about some kind of sneak attack. I can't really stress it enough. This is just a game waiting for the sneak attack to happen, because once it does, it's going to be instant GG, and it's going to disrupt the game altogether. And I'm not really thinking that either side would be able to come back from that. The battle at the bottom side is still raging on, with yellow trying to go through with a lot of siege ramps, but it's not like there's enough army here to actually stop those paladins. Those paladins can basically just wreck them. I'm not exactly sure what is yellow thinking at this point. It's just sending them in without any kind of defense or protection or whatever. It's just a huge waste of resources for nothing. And well, he needs to wait for a bit of an extra halberdiers that he's producing, and once he is able to amass enough halberdiers to protect those siege ramps, then it will be a pretty good idea to attack. And blue is at this point having a pretty decent amount of siege ramps, or rather siege onagers, which is, oh well, they are so tightly packed. Oh well, come on. This is siege onager bait. Please blue, see this. Blue, please, pretty please. I'm going to switch into him. to move and focus for him. And right now he sees them, and he's going for the kill. He's going for them. He's going for them. Ah, that didn't get the hit. This one did, and these next ones should be getting a pretty good hit as well. If they are... Come on, Luke. What is also curious about the oranges, that the yellow oranges are actually slightly better upgraded, as they are having the flaming shots, whereas the blue ones aren't. Yeah, that's also something in there that blue could be working on. And he's having quite a lot of resources, so I'm not exactly sure why he doesn't have the upgrade, but well, still, he is having a pretty decent amount now, and if he doesn't lose that, oh well, this is pretty crucial at this stage of the game. If he can somehow keep them alive and hit some pretty good shots and level all those Chukonus together with those oranges as well, he might be able to buy enough time for homers to somehow amass some kind of army of those paladins and run through and basically wreak havoc inside inside the forward base here and maybe do something about it. So far though, he's having a pretty hard time getting rid of those bombard towers, which are basically saving the asses of both Salesso and Sancho, because without those I'm kinda thinking that we will be already fighting about here, which is not happening so far, and well, yeah, this is still a stally situation. At the north side, the battlefield has moved, not an inch. Just as we expected. Just as we expected, and it seems like that the game has reached some kind of weird equilibrium where nobody is going anywhere, and literally there's just one huge battlefield, and that's about it, and nobody is going anywhere near the enemy base. So yeah, that's basically just a huge wrecking field right here. And this is really kind of curious when you think about the mentality of the players, that they are just trying to push through the battlefield they are obviously unable to do, and not really thinking about any kind of alternative. But I see some grey movement in the middle. Okay, so that's just some idle villagers. Some house from Schmoof. Is something going to happen here? Siege workshop, finally! Finally something is happening, somebody has thought of it. Thank you, Asterix. So Siege Workshop ×2, so this should be something that might be the decisive part of the game and going for BFs, so let's see about that, because this will be a pretty huge surprise. Even though they might encounter orange, or rather purple around here, this is still going to be way too late, and if they're going to be right into the middle of the trade route here, yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. So let's see about that, if they can really make that count, BFs. They really might. So far it's not really happening all that fast. Let's switch into the Mongol, which is Asterix. See what he's making. Yeah, siege managers. Yep, we are coming through. Coming through in just a matter of moments. Okay, so let's just in the meantime check. Let's just check on here on the battlefields, and well, here we go. Not really moving anywhere still, but it seems like it slightly might be favoring BFs in this battle, because they are having a bit more siege, whereas kLus are having just 2 trebuchets, or rather 3. They are probably not going to last for too long because of the bombard cannons and also the onagers here. So let's see about that, because Igine is having a bit of a problem actually getting closer to them to kill them, so that's about it. And well, let's see at the north side, or rather south side, where a bit more extra bombard towers are cropping up from Salesso. So it seems like they are kinda picking up on what they should be doing. And that's exactly building extra buildings here for defense, so that they are having slightly better backside, so they can push slightly more, which they are at this point, and they are pushing quite well. They will be able to kill the castle pretty soon, I think, and those bombard towers also. And this might be kinda time, with yet again a ton of trebuchets here from both yellow and red, and that's literally like the last time that kLus have broken through. That was basically because red was having 20 trebuchets, and that was the time when he was able to kill all the buildings and all the bombard towers and get through. Well, but this amount of paladins is not boding well for all this army without any kind of halberdiers. You see just, I don't know, 10 of them. So that's about it, and here we see in the middle, we are getting through. Still ways to go, but very nicely placed by kLu Sancho outpost, who was maybe kind of expecting that something like this could happen, and that's a very next level play, and he maybe won't be all that surprised, but still, this is going to be a huge disruption to the game mechanics, or rather game dynamics so far. So let's see how well this is going to go. At the top side though, it seems like almost that BS won't be even needed it. But it's quite curious. Oh, oh yeah, this is the reason. This is the reason those like 20 onagers, that can wreck things. That can make your day sad. That can really make your day pretty bad indeed, and it's right now quite working for BFs, and kLus are forced into pretty heavy defensive, and they will be falling back to their castle line, which is pretty strong, but still it's not really going to help them all that much, because siege managers are having pretty good range of 9, whereas castle is having 11, so it's not really all that much of a difference. And with their big attack and their huge numbers at this point, they will still be able to take down the castles just by themselves. So this will be largely up to Green to defend if he can somehow outmaneuver the enemy's army and get to them and kill them through some very nice maneuvering and micro. Let's see about that, if that's going to happen. So far it doesn't seem so. So far it seems like that he is kind of unwisely just trying to target all those Mangurais from his opponent, but well, I'm kind of thinking that he might be wanting to go around here, like position them somewhere here, just let them loose, and will be just wrecking those bombard cannons and whatnot. But at this point he doesn't have anything, and the BFs are, yeah, kind of winning, I have to say, at this point. With a huge amount of siege, those just have been killed, but they are being replaced by a pretty huge number of bombard cannons, and well, that's about it. Well, here we see, yep, that kLus are seeing what is happening here, and danger is coming in from Asterix, who is almost through, but they need to do something about it, kLus, because if they don't, yeah, right now they have at least one siege manager here, and if they don't, it's still going to be pretty bad. Oh, well, this is a pretty nice one with those Mangurais, because this is exactly what he needs against those guys that are trying to defend here. Purple is going to be building some extras. That's bombard towers, which is exactly the right answer. And can Asterix be fast enough to get through to actually disrupt this? We'll see. Let's see. Yeah, right now seeing that there are Mangurais here, and we are through. So let's see if this is going to be exactly what the BFs need to win the game about now. Okay, so they are through, so let's check on the battlefields here. Oh, wow, that was a big army of paladins. That was the one that we're seeing here, and that was wrecked. And as you can see, red together with yellow are slowly advancing forward. They have killed the castle, which was a big problem here, and they have also killed quite a decent amount of bombard towers at this point, and they are definitely getting through here. So it seems like that BFs are winning on the north, whereas kLus are winning on the south. So who's going to be faster here? Take your bets, and I have no idea. Because yet again, quite a decent amount of onages is right now messing here, together with enough paladins to protect them, I think, so that they can probably stop the advance of the opponents. But the huge amount of onagers, or rather trebuchets, at this point could be pretty decent, and especially when they are killing some of those tables. But yeah, purple, or rather teal, is not really stupid, and he's already making backups, quite a lot of them at the same time. So the trebuchets are tightly packed, which is not really good news for blue, who has easily upgraded it to flaming shots as well, and will be probably leveling them without any problem, because I don't see any army whatsoever from kLus besides just a huge amount of siege here, and this will be probably going for the BFs yet again, especially if teal homers can join with the paladins, because yeah, there's literally nothing in here. It's not going to go all that well for BFs, or rather for kLus. Yeah, here we see the wreckage of trebuchets. And looking at the north, yeah, we can see that BFs are still pushing forward and are getting all that much more closer to the heart of the base of their opponents. And well, can they actually take it down though? It's going to be hard, but they have already won the choke point, which is a pretty important victory, because right now they will be fighting on a huge battlefield, a huge open battlefield, which should be favoring them slightly, because they are having, I kind of think, the better army, and more importantly, better ecos and better better producing abilities, so they are having higher numbers. And well, here's a switch. And here's a twist from Orange, who is switching into heavy camos, which is some kind of idea against those paladins, but will it be enough? Well, he has to, because he doesn't have any kind of support from Blue. Blue is right now having just those onagers, so that's not really enough. Not building any kind of halberdiers like he was at the beginning of the game. But let's see if somehow Blues can actually hold this. At this point it almost seems like that they can't, because they're not really killing efficiently these siege weapons from Blues, and Blues are slowly but surely taking care of those bombard towers, and yet another siege workshop is being built by Green, and well, they are messing quite enough armies here at the back, so they are doing the clever thing, not sending everything just one by one to get deleted by their opponents. Yeah, he should be careful though. He shouldn't just sacrifice the paladins like that. That's not really anything that he would want to do. In the middle, we can see that Clues have been able to defend, unfortunately for BFs, and maybe something slightly more daring should be placed here. Okay, so that's one onager, that's another one. And not even that one. So that's one more, and he should potentially be able to kill the wall here and the second onager. So maybe he could slowly make a way through. That's also very cleverly walled, because it's maybe threatening that Clues could be actually going the other way. But so far they aren't, and it seems like the Clues at the bottom side are, well, moving forward. Slowly but surely they are. Slowly but surely they are, and can Teal do something about it? At this point he is kind of losing his base, as he's really forced into blue, or rather, yeah, into blue. Just confused because Grey is having a lot of base here as well, but he has already moved from his own one. And well, right now I kind of hope it's a pause and not some kind of drop. That would be slightly disappointing. It wouldn't be really all that nice. I'm just going to check real quick for that. Seems all fine, so it's going to be just a pause. And well, let's have a look around the map then. Still some Grey villages in enemy territory at this point. Interesting that, yeah, Purple is not really mining all that much. And Purple is also having quite a lot of stables here. So I'm kind of thinking, you know, those were actually built quite a lot earlier. And he was probably thinking that he could support his allies with some extra paladins, which he is at this point. Okay, so I haven't noticed those, and I was just about to say that he is forced to actually be full on in the north side, because this is a pretty big battle and not really going all that well for Clues. But yeah, it seems like that he is thinking, yeah, okay, he is. He's definitely thinking that he's switching to the bottom side. Yeah, this is basically the telltale sign. He has built enough defenses right here with the bombard towers to actually buy him some extra time to go for the south side, and they are definitely smelling blood right now in the water, because definitely they are having the upper hand. And if they can get another push here, and paladins are a super strong push right to the combo that they are having with the halberdiers and the chukonus, this could be exactly what will wreck Teal together with Blue. Because with those paladins here, they will be getting rid of all those onagers, which will mean that all those trebuchets and potential siege rams or whatever is going to be quite safe for both El Sancho and Saleso. And they are not really far away from the trade route here. And we should get him back into the fight in here. And we are. So yep, paladins are coming in. And is it some constant trickle? Not really. Not really, but they should be taking care of the trade route here, because you can see that it's beginning to be largely suboptimal as it's getting cluttered, and well, Purple is not building anything extra here. So it's just some kind of initial push, but it's going to be repelled by Teal's paladins, as he was able to amass quite a lot of them through all the ton of stables that he has. But still, those halberdiers are here, so if Clues play this correctly, with the bombard tower spam, they still might be good to go to slowly but surely advance into their opponents. So let's see about that. Oh well, that was a nice hit into the Chokonus. And it seems like that Homers is trying to outmaneuver his opponent. He's probably going to somehow attempt to actually divert attention for the Onagers here. So let's see. Let's see if that's going to work out. So far, not really any good shots from the Onagers, unfortunately. Right now they could be. Yeah, that was a pretty nice one. It was a nice one into half that, yes, but still I would be hoping for slightly better shots, especially one about here and about here into those trebuchets. And well, yet another player is making an appearance here, and right now it's not purple, it's green. It's green. So this battlefield is developing quite strongly, building some extra stable steel here. But yeah, this is kind of too close. So that's probably not going to come up. And well, otherwise though, Orange is making an appearance as well with his own bombard tower. So that's yet another player switching allegiances from the north to the south. And it almost seems like that players are abandoning the north and coming to the south. Well, that's pretty curious at this point. Let's have a look at the north battlefield, where BFs are not able to push through, whereas kLus are defending quite nicely. And almost seem to be pushing through, because those bombard towers are almost dead, both of them, so that's not going to be any kind of problem. And did I hear monks? Or was that something else? Yeah, that was probably something else. This was probably just some dying camel or something, so yeah, sorry about that. What would monks be doing here anyway in this huge skirmish? And well, it seems like that we are at yet another impasse, and we are back where we were just a few minutes earlier in the choke point. Nothing interesting somewhere else? Well, just this. Very nicely placed outpost to actually make sure there is something interesting here, and this could potentially be yet another route into the backside of their opponents. This could be a very good trade-in right inside the food, how's it called? Food economy. Yeah, with Mangudais, it could be a pretty good trade-in, not an opportunity right there. Let's see if we go see that. So the battlefield is slightly moving forward right now, with kLus having an upper hand just for a moment here. In the middle, nobody is making another extra attempt, which is kind of a shame. And at the south side we see that we are kinda at a stalled position, because BFs are defending very nicely at this point, and well, kLus are not having enough push to go through. I'm not exactly sure what's the problem. I'm just going to cycle through the players if they are maybe having too many villagers at this point. 150, 160, 160. I'm kinda thinking that 160 is too much in this late game, and you can see that Salos has 135. I'm thinking that we already deleted some villies. I'm just going to go through one by one. We're not really going to miss anything here. So Saleso, a ton of resources. He could definitely delete like 50 villies at this point and be very happy about that. He doesn't need the wood at all. Why would you mine wood, or rather gather wood when you have 33,000 and you are not using it at all? Just delete the villagers, please. Hox is kinda strained, so that's kinda understandable that he's keeping those. And next is the winds, ton of food, so he might be wanting to actually relinquish some of the villies on the foot. He could be having some extra pop in there, like some extra 20 or whatnot, potentially could afford it. Last from kLus is El Sancho. Kinda strained, so yeah, kinda needs all the extra economy. Asterix. Also pretty strained, so it's kinda okay. Maybe a few villages on the foot. The same goes for El Sancho. Like 5 or 10. Well, it's still some extra 5 units, so why not? It could really help you in the battle. Asterix, Homers. This is not really luck right now. This is just me switching between the viewpoints. So, but yeah, this is a luck. This is a luck. And right now we are looking at Homers, who is having just a ton of food, so he definitely can afford to kill like, I don't know, 20 food villies. He definitely doesn't need all that many of them at this point, so he could be having quite a lot of extra paladins in his battles. And well, we see yet another new line of bombard towers, and the same could be said about the opponents here. So yeah, I'm not really thinking that this is going to be going anywhere anytime soon yet again. Schmoof is next for inspection. He's kind of strained, so yeah. His economy, even though it's one of the largest, actually the largest, he kind of needs it. And Obelix, yeah, also kind of strained, so yeah, understandable. But there are definitely some players, especially for blue, that could do with lesser units in the economy and allowing for some extra population limit. And I'm kind of thinking that's exactly what's missing here, because you can see when Blue Sancho with Salasso are having enough siege units, they are having literally none of others, like Halberdiers, Chukonus, or whatnot. So this is basically their problem. When they are able to push through the buildings, they have nothing to back it up with, and therefore they are very easily repelled by those paladins. Well, this is developing into a pretty unbreakable wall at this point. And at the same time, it seems like that BFs are not having enough push-up themselves. So this is basically just going to be a lot of dead BDs, a lot of units dead in the middle between them, and something else somewhere else. One gold villager on this gold mine, okay. Mildly interesting. Pop limit being wasted here. Not much here, because that's for defensive purposes. And the battle right now here, yeah, still at kind of an impasse, even though you see that slightly close, trying to push through with buildings, trying to make sure that they are slowly gaining ground, but they're not really successful that much at this point. And we might be waiting for a miracle for this game to end, because this seems to be like literally perfectly timed. This is like the type of a Black Forest that might be decided when wood runs out. Because and that's going to be like 2 days or whatnot, but otherwise I'm not really seeing who can win where. This is just going to be resulting in some either absolutely stellar play or some absolutely huge misplay. At this point it might be probably the best idea from either team to amass some kind of army of Mangudais. Yeah, if you can amass some kind of Mangudais in some secret somewhere. For example, for BFs, if they can amass Mangudais here and push with Siege Manager here through this tree line, they will be having a very easy access with all those units into basically all the armies all the bases of Kul's, and they could be just wrecking the trade route very easily. So this might be something that would decide the game here, because otherwise on the battlefield I'm not really seeing what could change the outcome of this. This is just going 5 centimeters ahead, 5 centimeters back, and this is just happening for the last hour of the game time. In the real time as well. Well, at the bottom side it almost seems like that teal homers together with blue Schmoof are having some kind of attempt at breaking through, as they are having quite a lot of paladins at this point, and also onagers. And will they be successful? Well, they might be, because Red is having a lot of population limit spent on those trebuchets, which are completely useless at this point. Like, totally completely. And let's see if Yellow can help him out. Well, because Homers was fighting a pretty suboptimal battle with those Halberdiers, which he obviously lost, but he's having quite good reinforcement, so not really all that much of a problem. But really, that battle was pretty bad for him, and he probably could have went for something slightly better and hoped that Blue Schmoof would be helping him with some extra good shots with the onagers. So far not happening though. But really, what is the plan for Red together with Yellow? Well, Yellow is definitely switching into full spam of those Halberdiers. Like a full spam, he's having a ton of barracks here. Finally those are dead. There were some few berries of grey and they are killed. And well, what is Green doing here? Is Green trying to build some extra markets here? Potentially. Not really sure what he should be doing here, something else. maybe some castles or whatnot, but well, yeah, that's it. And really, it seems like that BFs are slowly pushing through because of the sheer power of those paladins, and because, yeah, there are enough stables at this point that Teal is able to amass them quite fast. He should be sending them right into the battlefield at this point, even though a bit earlier I have said that he shouldn't be sending them in one by one. This is a position where he's having a huge advantage and he should be pushing it as much as he can. So, at the north side, not much happening still. But, oh well, not much happening. It's kinda interesting, because BFs are slightly edging forward. Here, and they are getting some pretty good shots into the onagers. Yeah, that was a pretty good shot in here. Oh well, yet another one. Even though the onager died, it did take to win him. And maybe some extra shots in here, and it will be all that easier for BFs to push through, but they are falling behind on army, because Grey is not paying enough attention and sending them in. But maybe they could be attempting to actually run through to some raiding. There is a way. There is actually a way. They might be running through between the siege workshop and the castle. They might be, if they can actually lure those Mangudais in. And there might be a pretty good way through into the trade route. So let's see if they will go in, if they are going to take it. Now this is not really ideal. This is too close. And yep. Yet again, paladins making the difference. So, it's paladins, both on the south front and the north front, making the difference in the battle overall. So whenever one of the players is able to amass enough paladins, basically like pop limit, it is the time for his armies to push through. Well, that was a pretty good shot right there with onagers, even though I'm kind of worried that some of them were friendlies. Oh well, pretty nice shots. Pretty nice shots from Yellow. He just decimated the Grey army just like that. And well, he's right now gaining advantage with his Mangudais himself. And a lot of villagers here, so he will be attempting bombard towers into the middle of the map. And well, careful about that. Yep. Yeah, this is right now just returning me back to Orange, who was building the bombard towers with like 2 or 4 villages. Yeah, this is how you should do it in a pitch battle, like sending like a 10 of them, and that's how you build them, even under heavy fire. Okay, so let's check back to the south side, where it seems like that Teal was pushing through together with Blue, but yet not really all that much. So right together with Yellow were able to defend quite nicely. And they are still holding through, and this is all resulting in some extra bombard towers dead and such. And I'm kinda thinking that Teal is at this point doing exactly the right thing. He's just moving slightly forward with his buildings, with his stables, and that's exactly what's going to allow him in just a matter of moments to supply all that much more paladins, all that quicker into the battlefield. So yeah, he will be losing the units fast, but he will be replacing them as fast as he will be losing them, which is definitely going to help him attain some kind of map control in there. And that's, by the way, something that Purple should be doing as well. He should be moving some of those stables up the battlefield also, so that he doesn't have to run all that long from his military buildings. Seems like that Purple is quite successful with his endeavor into the bombard towers. And he's also... well, that's not him. That's Yellow, but still. Oh no, it's actually green. Oh yeah. Well, that's... of course. That's the Mongols, so with the faster siege siege rams, that's a pretty good idea, because they will be able to close down those bombard towers quite fast. But still, as you can see, they can't really make an appearance right under them, because they are just killed by the Mangudais before they can make it. Or if they're not killed by the Mangudais, then they are leveled by the onagers. But still, this is some kind of attempt by kLu to actually go there. But still, they are not really having enough of a push, because they are fighting kinda losing battle. You can see that those Mangudais together with the bombard towers are just killing the paladins as soon as they are getting near them. And even though Vince is able to replenish the units pretty fast, he's not really doing anything. He's just losing them to all the extra fire from those Mangudais. The Mangudais are right now inching forward to get rid of all those siege onagers, which they are very successfully, and they will be probably killing even those Mangudais from green. I'm kinda thinking that this amount of Mangudais is not really enough. Let's switch it to Hawks. Oh, he's having 169 wills. Why? Why? Is he having all that many trade caravans or whatnot? I'm kinda confused at this point. Where is his limit? Where is his limit? Because really he's having just 31 pop for army. And that's literally not enough. That's literally not enough in the battle there, and that's why he is not able to really help his allies substantially as opposed to Grey. You can see that's just a big difference, and they are both at pop at this point pretty much. And you can see that Grey is having like, I don't know, I would guess 20 or something, 25 maybe, whereas when Green is popped, he is at like 10, 15 maybe. That's of course going to be a pretty big problem for you. Here is some extra pop in trebuchets, but still, I'm not seeing enough Conquerors from you, Green. Maybe you should do something about it, but yeah, oh well. We see a bit of a push through, but it's really just delayed battle here, because Blue together with Grey are just preparing for the onslaught. As Blue is having enough halberdiers here, together with pretty decent army of siege onagers, and then the Mangudais here are just kind of an insurance here. So yeah, this is just... yeah, I don't really think that this is a moment where kLu are pushing through, because this is just waiting for the right moment of BFs, and then they will just level the army here, and that's going to be it. This is basically just like baiting kLu into thinking that they can win, and then saying, sorry, not happening. I'm getting into pretty good position, and yep, here we go, that was to that, and they are exactly in range. Yeah, they're exactly in range, and very nice shots. Very nice shots indeed, and that's exactly what I was talking about, with BFs waiting for the right moment. And well, this is pretty much it, and goodbye. Nice attempt by kLu, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough, and even though those onagers are probably going to die at this point, if Hawks micros properly with those Mangudais into them, still it's not going to be enough to push through here. Let's switch back into the bottom side, where, oh well, that's a surprise. Where are those bombard towers? Oh well, hello, BFs are winning here. Yeah, I think I can clearly say that, because they are inching forward with all those military buildings, which is exactly what they need to do. Very nice job indeed, and this is exactly what is winning them the game, because even though Homers is losing a whole ton of paladins to halberdiers and Chukonus and bombard towers, he's able to replace them so fast that he doesn't really mind. It is basically enabling him to supply the pressure that he needs to allow his mage move to supply enough siege weapons to deal with the buildings like the bombard towers and such. Right now though, they are having to regroup at this point. Extra bombard towers are still being built, and yep, you can see that Orange is definitely having a thing about just 4 villagers building a bombard tower. That seems to be a kind of ingrained, I don't know, special reflex or whatever. And it's of course not going to be enough. If they are careful though, because if they are not careful, it's... ah yeah, right now they have died. So yep, it's not enough, and Orange will be forced to send in extra guys. And oh well, this is important, because Purple is switching from the top side to the bottom, where he is attempting to somehow level up the game, because he sees that Salasso together with Sancho are kinda not able to somehow deal with those paladins properly, so they need some extra paladins of themselves. So yeah, this is it. And can it be enough? I cannot think so, because they will be fighting 3 versus 2. They should be able to hold, and they are having, well, at least those 2 castles, but still not enough bombard towers, and they may... oh, hey, this is a switch. This is a switch into heavy scorpions, and I'm liking this. I'm liking this, because heavy scorpions are pretty good unit if they are massed. because of their area of damage attack. So this could be really making the difference if they are properly protected by those 100 years and somebody is taking care of those oranges. But that seems to be a bit of a problem, and BF seems to be inching forward, but this huge army of Chiconos is pretty strong at this point, and they need to be leveled by some oranges. Yeah, so if we can get some oranges in there, level them, that could be it. Maybe should have risked it into there. Yeah, you can see a lot of oranges right now from both yellow and green. So maybe the Scorpion was just a mistake. At this point I would think so. But can blue get there? Yeah, red is already running away. Those trebuchets are just toast. But they might be able to kill some of those oranges here. Yeah, one dead. That was a pretty nice shot. Pretty nice shot indeed. And these were going to be dead. Oh yeah. He needs one there. That's fine there. Okay, another dead. And well, yeah. Pretty much all the oranges have been killed, so that was a pretty nice job in microing from close, and all those Chukanos are safe, at least for them, for the time being. But I'm kinda thinking that blue will be moving there pretty soon, and let's switch somewhere else. Ah, here we have a sneak. Okay, so this is where Hox is as well. And that's exactly maybe why I wasn't seeing all that much of an army from him in the forefront. Yes. Okay, so I wholeheartedly apologize, Hox. Sorry for speaking bad about you. You were already moving through because I hasn't noticed that. And yep, that's exactly what is happening. And the north front is basically slowly losing for kLu. That's definitely losing for kLu, but that's because they are giving up as purple is helping at the bottom, and they are right now also trying to push through the middle here. So can they finish? Can they finish somehow? Well, they are almost through the walls, but at the same time Schmoof is well aware. And oh, this Paladin, that's an MVP staying right in the way, in the gate, and getting wrecked, rather wrecking all those oranges. So can he get there? Oh, proper micro, please, please, micro to them, please, please, please. Well, he's getting, oh, he's probably gonna get a headshot here. Yeah, come on, just waiting for the headshot to happen. He's just running away, and here it is. Here is the headshot, but it was damn close to the trade line if you have a look at this. So if Goose can push through, this could be pretty dangerous. And it seems like the BS are well aware and pretty much realizing exactly what kind of tragedy this could be for them, as they are slightly winning. And if Goose somehow got here, that would be just game over. They wouldn't be able to continue at all. Okay, so let's see if they can push through. I'm kind of thinking not, because Homers at this point is having a pretty decent army of paladins here, so that's not going to be good enough for all of these Mangudais. And yeah, BFs are right now fully aware, so I'm not really seeing how they could actually get through here. So let's check the battlefield yet again, and really, yep, it seems like that because BF's armies have to be rerouted to defend in their home bases, it basically meant that the battlefields had to be relinquished, and Klus are getting their lands back so far, and we are over 2 hours of game time, which is quite a lot, and somebody is housed. Hox is actually housed. Well, he's actually wasting pop limit here. And I'm pretty sure he's not aware at all. He's wasting 10 pop limit. Come on, go for it. He has lost somehow houses somewhere. Not exactly sure where. But this is not really what you want to do. And he's having houses at the back and nobody is building them. Okay, so he probably shift clicked them. And the villagers screwed him. Oh, well, I'm sorry for him at this point. That sucks, that sucks. There's one villager here and not doing anything. Second one either. Well, that's really weird. That's really weird and seriously unfortunate. This could actually break the game for Klus. Because fighting 10 pop less without the need here, that's a lot of difference in such very close battles. So, yeah, not ideal at all. Not ideal at all, so let's see how this is going to develop. Purple is finally sending quite a lot of villagers to build bombard towers, so yet again, Orange, please have a look here. This is how you build bombard towers in pitch battles. With this many villagers, not 4, which is some kind of magical number for you. But otherwise, yep, this is like Klus getting like getting ground under their feet yet again, as they are moving forward here, as yep, they have very cleverly actually enlarged the way through here, so they are right now very nicely able to maneuver into their opponent's base. So, seems to be pushing slightly forward, but probably not for long looking at this army here. And at the bottom, where we are at, oh, we are actually at close losing, quite definitely. Oh well, they are definitely losing here. They are absolutely definitely losing here at this point. Because that's quite a decent amount of managers with some bombard cannons and also quite a lot of paladins. And it doesn't seem like that El Sancho together with Saleso are being able to actually deal with this at all. Here you can see at the top that Hox has finally finished the houses. So he's back at 200, which is a pretty good one. And oh yeah, this is it. Because he was having houses somehow here. How did that happen? Oh, this is Saleso's house, sorry. I was seeing just those green flowers there, and that was it. But sorry, that was a red house, and Red will have to be careful because yeah, he will be the one that is going to be housed. Let's switch to him. If he's maybe lost already, he's lost one house so far, he will be losing another one. And yet again, at this point, Blues are in a pretty huge threat because they will be losing the trade route if they can't defend this. I'm kinda thinking that Purple should be switching full on in this. And Green as well, because they need to get rid of those onagers. Basically those onagers are right now wrecking them, and you don't see any army whatsoever. They just send in one by one the units, and exactly at this point they should be trying to amass the army somewhere and then trying to engage their opponents. They are at this point really not going to win the battle here, and once they lose it, this is going to be it, because without the trade route they are kinda gone. So this is just now maybe a bit of hope that Blues can push through the top side here, but I'm not really seeing that, because it's very well defended by Obelix together with Asterix. Asterix and Obelix probably just drinking some kind of potion, so they're holding for the whole game. And can they go hold a bit longer, so that they allow their allies Homers together with Schmoof to push through at the bottom? Well, quite potentially, because I really think that yeah, they're not losing here. They're not losing here, and it's not like Klus are having enough push. I'm really thinking that Klus should be having a bit of an army, a bit of extra bombard towers, and probably switch into the right side. Fully, especially Green should be switching yet again to get rid of those onagers. They finally be killed, but oh well, that's a lot of siege rams instead of them. That's going to help quite immensely, especially against some kind of extra attack from Chukonus, and it's going to wreck those buildings, because as you can see they are quite tightly packed, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were killing more buildings just by proxy. Purple is returning here because he literally has to, as he has no other choice, otherwise he's basically toast. And oh well, somebody is switching. Saleso is switching into heavy camels and also into cavaliers here. And he is right now building everything, light cavalry, cavaliers, camels. He's just building anything that he can, and that's because he doesn't have any gold whatsoever, which is curious. I'm kinda thinking that Klus are right now having a bit of a hard time being in the game because of the indigestion of the trade route, because as you can see there's a lot of cluttering, and there was a lot of cluttering an hour ago already, so I'm kinda thinking this might be a slight problem for them. For the whole duration of the game. I'm going to switch into other clues. A lot of gold for Hox. Vince, not much. El Sancho, oh, ouch, he's having 19,000 gold, whereas Red is having none. Oh my gosh. This hurts so much. It hurts so much. He could just send in 5,000 resources and Red would be happy just like that. You can see that he's right now dropped the pop limit in just 175. And well, can Purple somehow turn this around? Well, possibly he could. Possibly he could. Let's see though. Somehow he is attempting to do so. He's building quite a lot of paladins here, and somehow he is at least keeping this at bay, but he's not winning. He's not winning, and this is another twist to the fun story here, and that's, well, dogs for elite cannon galeons. I'm pretty sure about that. Let's switch into homers to confirm. Yeah, Canon Galleons, of course. Yep, and these are going to be the Canon Galleons, and this is going to be it, because this is going to wreck the trade route altogether, and I'm kinda thinking this is aiming for the end of the game after 2 and a quarter of an hour, but still, let's not say that, because Green is making an appearance as well, so this is basically all 4 kLus at this point concentrating on this battlefield, because they definitely need to, as if they lose this, they are out of the game, out of the trade route, out of everything altogether, and those Elite Canon Galleons are a pretty great idea. As well, this is going to be the end of this castle, and I would maybe first target those markets. I would definitely target those markets first. Even though El Sancho is, yeah, the closest one, and he's also the one that has the 19,000 gold, so yeah. That's exactly not the one that is going to hurt all that much, but still, this is one start, and I really think this would be much better choice for him overall. Population limit reached for Teal, and he better hope that this works, because it's not like those Canon Galleons are not a huge pop limit, because if he builds like 5 of them, it's going to be all that lesser, rather all that lower amount of paladins in there, and this could switch into kLu's advantage. So let's switch into the top side to see what's happening here, where kLus are losing, well, quite obviously, because they are fighting all 4 at the very bottom, and right now they are basically just giving up grounds here, and trying maybe to somehow stabilize the situation at the south side, and when that happens, then they will be returning top side and trying to return back to this strong point, as they have numerous times in the past. Yep, so all those dead castles though are pretty much GG for Hox, because he is a Mongol, and once he doesn't have any kind of castles, what is he going to build? He is relying on Mangudais, which are pretty much the staple unit and a very, very crucial unit indeed. But right now he will need to buy quite a ton of stone. Let's switch into Hox. And yeah, he has literally no castle, no gold to buy all that much stone, and at the same time he is pretty heavily popped and he is asking for GG, and I'm kinda thinking that really is because at the south side they are maybe slightly stabilizing in there, but it's only because there are all 4 of them. There are all 4 of them, and right now they are losing the trade route here thanks to the very nicely used Canon Galleons. So yeah, that's what you want to do with the bottom edges on the Black Forest. That's it. And on the top side, well, oh yeah, kLus are definitely broken here. They are broken here, and there's absolutely nothing they can do. Oh, well, besides those very good shots into those onagers, but still the pretty huge army of those Mangudais with some of those camels and pretty big army of bombard cannons and siege onagers. Yeah, I'm not really seeing how some of the kLus could defend here, because basically going to be only up to some of those paladins together with the Mangudais, and they are at this point very heavily needed at the very bottom when the trade route is being killed from the bottom. And even though they are stabilizing, really they have pretty much stabilized at this position as much as is possible, even though they are kinda losing. This is pretty much it, and GG's are being called, and this is it, and BFs are winning this 2 hours and 17 minutes long game on Black Forest. Well, that was quite an intense battle. Quite an intense battle indeed. Quite an intense battle indeed. Wow, look at the kill-death ratio here. Well, those are some huge numbers for Schmoof, especially due to those siege onagers. And a pretty sad one for wins.
No.
That's actually terribly sad. That's really bad. I'm really still staring at this number. That's not good at all. That's not good at all, but still, absolutely awesome game. With also some sneaky attempt at the very middle, so that was a very nice one. Oh, and unfortunately for Green, he was just having some wasted pop limit here, which he wasn't aware of, and it definitely could have helped him. Well, let's have a look at the achievements here then. Going right, Red was having decent amount of pop limit in there. Schmoof, well, that was kind of understandable, as he was having quite a lot of siege onagers. Yellow, oh well, that's not bad, that's kind of decent, even though, Yeah, that's kind of decent. And Orange, he was having also a lot of bombard cannons. So yeah, I would kind of think that this was the most definite problem here. The difference between Asterix and Hox. That Hox somehow didn't have the pop for his Mangurais, even though he was popped all the time. He wasn't playing bad. I'm not saying that at all, but still, Mongols from Asterix were somehow better. And they were allowing to hold at the north side where kLu's were trying to push through the most. Alright, GG then. After 2 hours, 17 minutes, 17 seconds game time.